But they scared because they got people with them and they don't want to look like fools. The word has been hidden from your wise and your prudent. It's been hidden.
Don't disturb the doctor.
That's it. And here they got a reason why they use it. Let's see why they use YHWH. It says here, the pronunciation of the name was familiar to the Israelites, not us. Not us Israelites, not us. And when they saw it in writing, they supplied the vowels without thinking. That's because we spoke the language. That's why. But what they mean is, we knew how to say the name of the Most High. We didn't have to go and think about what his name was. We knew it. So it wasn't about putting in any vowel sounds. We knew his name. That's why we could pronounce it. Just as for an English reader, the abbreviation LTD represents limited and BLBG represents building. Wow. That's the reason why you use Yahweh, YHWH, that? Alright. Well, let me break that down for a second. LTD. Could you make a word out of LTD? Excuse me, could you make an abbreviation out of the word limited? I mean LTD, if you did not know that it was limited first? How could you make something an abbreviation? An abbreviation means that they had a word and they shortened it. That's what an abbreviation is. So you would not have ever been able to get LTD unless you had the word limited, which has all the vowel sounds in it and the letters. So how in the world can you compare that to the Most High's name? How can you do that? LTD wasn't the first thing. You didn't wake up and say, well, let me get an LTD, and then they put the letters in between it. They didn't do that. The word came first and then the abbreviation. So they're lying to you on that note. LTD did not come before limited, as Jehovah did not come before YHWH. So where did they get that idea from? And on top of that, they changed a Y into a J. It doesn't make any sense. None at all. When I go into Chinese books, if I read a Chinese book, it's going to tell me the name of the author, right? And the characters in the book name is going to be Mitsuyashi Shirayami or whatever his name might be. Why don't they change that name to Marshall Mathers? Why don't they do that? Because they can't. Why would you go into the Bible and change every single name? It doesn't make any sense. Why shouldn't we learn the language of those people? Why not? It's your language. Everybody running out here talking about they're Americans, they're Haitians, or they this and they that. You are not any of those things according to the Bible and according to history. Everybody was imperialized by somebody. Who were you before they imperialized you? That's what you should be asking yourselves. How did the Indians get over here if everybody started in the east side? How? Where did these Indians come from? They had to have been living in the Middle East or in Africa or in Rome, one of them. All life started with Adam. Adam was in the Garden of Eden. Everybody spread from that. How did the Indians get over here? When did all the Spanish, the so-called Spanish people, how did they get over here? They wasn't brought over in slave ships. How? Doesn't make any sense. Until you do the research and realize that half these religions out here are just lying. They're making it up as they go along. It's easier to keep you asleep. Let's see what else they have to say. And as I was saying, YHWH is an abbreviation. Give me a word out of that. My name is JJT. That's my name. My name is JJT. That's my name. Give me an abbreviation out of that. Go ahead and give me an abbreviation. Excuse me, give me a name. Make my name out of JJT if you don't know my name. How can you do that? It's not gonna happen. Sorry. Let's see what else happens. Two things happen to change the situation. First, a superstitious idea arose among the Jews that it was wrong to say the divine name out loud. What superstition? The Most High loved us. Why would we not say his name? How can we pray to him if we don't say his name? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The Most High is not happy with that. Believe that. A superstitious idea arose to say the divine name out loud. You're right. It says, so when they came to it in their Bible reading, they uttered Hebrew word Adonai. Adonai is evil too. That is not his name. It does not mean Lord. That was interjected by the Jewish Masoretes, the false scribes. They say it means sovereign Lord. Not in Hebrew. Not in Hebrew. Further, let's skip down a little bit. In order to ensure that the pronunciation of the Hebrew language as a whole would not be lost, Jewish scholars, not real Jews, Jewish scholars of the school half of this first millennium CE. So we got Jewish scholars of the school, Jewish scholars of the second half of the first millennium CE with this big word right here that's important. It says invented. Jewish scholars of the second half of the first millennium CE invented a system of points to represent the missing vowels. They invented it, meaning it did not exist before this. So if it did not exist before this, I am to recognize it as being something that the Most High said to do when it doesn't say that in the Bible. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to believe y'all on this one. No, it doesn't make any sense. They invented a system of points to represent the missing vowels, and they placed these around the consonants in the Hebrew Bible. Oh man, that just gave away everything that they believe in. Everything. They invented this system. It wasn't in place before, and we didn't recognize it all throughout time until what? CE? That's now.